Okay, next video on the Amiga 1000. This is kind of goofy, but this is what I've got right now. I've got the HDMI going into the monitors before. This time I remembered to hook sound up. This is a Tron speaker by Monster. Actually sounds pretty good. It's a portable speaker thing that I can use line input. I can put my old iPhone 4S in there, which I actually tried. The battery's dead. I'm not sure if the app will still be functional if I replace the battery in the iPhone 4, but it makes it sound reactive where the lights change with the music. So yeah, so there we should be able to test sound, and I've now got a Gotek drive. I have my Gotek cable. And I haven't done anything to fix the non-functional memory other than I moved the auto config switch. Switch number 1, I moved it up and down a few times just in case that switch wasn't making contact, and maybe that will be a super easy fix. I don't think it will be, but you never know. So the main point of this is testing sound and testing the Gotek. One of the things about the Gotek, I was on eBay when I got this, and the guy advertises pre-configured for Amiga with a speaker installed in different colors. And I was looking at his different ads to look at the different colors. I chose to get a beige one, which is not too different than the actual case. Happy with my color choice, but I accidentally got one that was not one of the configured for the Amiga with a speaker in it, etc. Now the speaker's no big deal because the same guy that makes these has videos, and I've got the little piezo speaker on the way, and it just attaches to a couple header pins here, so that's not a big deal. The thing is, everything else inside looks like it should be okay to work with the Amiga, so hopefully it will. The thumb drive that I've got in it only has a couple Kickstart ROMs, a workbench, the test kit, and I think I put disk copy on there. And that's it. Looking online at Gotek's, because there are so many different versions of it, this is the latest version. Some of them have a program that runs on the Amiga that lists numerically all the files on it, because the original ones had an LED panel here that just showed a number, and so you'd have to know, well, I want to play, a game, it's number 5, so scroll it to number 5 and you get that game. This has got an OLED screen, so it will display the files. So I don't think I need that selector program that ran on the Amiga. I've also heard for the Amiga 1000 and Kickstart, you need to replace the bootloader of the Gotek with the Kickstart. And I don't know if that's true or not. I'm hoping all I have to do is turn the dial to Kickstart, push the dial, and it'll load Kickstart, but maybe not. I'm really confused with the information that's out there. From years and years ago when the Goteks first were coming out up till now. So I guess we'll turn it on and see what happens. Okay. All right, I heard the Amiga, it was very low. My volume, of course it's black and it's kind of dark in here. Volume, next track, previous track. All right, well, we won't worry about that. We got sound. We got the Amiga boot up sound, if you heard it or not. I do not have a Kickstart screen. All I've done is hooked up the speaker, the external drive, and flip the dip switch. On the insider board, I now do not have a kickstart. Now, is that because it detects a disc in here? And it's not a kickstart disc? Okay, so maybe that's the problem with using a Gotek in the Amiga 1000. Is that if it sees something that's not a kickstart, it doesn't know what to do. Now that I've got that set to kickstart, I wonder if it will remember that. I've also got my DF0 switch set so that the Gotek is DF0. There is kickstart. And there's no kickstart prompt. So either something has died, or on an Amiga 1000 I have to do something special for kickstart. Interesting. All right, I'm going to unplug the Gotek and see where I get. Okay. Hopefully you can hear the disk drive is clicking. And I have kickstart prompt. All right, well, okay, this confirms the theory that you have to do something special for an Amiga 1000 to get kickstart to load. I unplugged the Gotek from the cable, left the switch in the DF0 position for the Gotek being DF0, and it still came up with a blank white screen. I flipped the switch to make this DF0, and after a white screen and a little heart attack, the drive started to click, and then I got the kickstart prompt. So it looks like when you turn the Amiga 1000 on, it looks at drive 0, it activates it, and asks for a kickstart, I guess. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to figure out either my Gotek is not set up properly, or there is something special that I have to do to get kickstart to load off of a Gotek, which is annoying, but hopefully not that big of a deal. So that means that right now I am back to only being able to use floppies. Because the Gotek would be, if I plugged the Gotek in now, it would be a test to make sure the Gotek works, because if I get to Workbench and I have the Gotek plugged in, oh crap, and I can't get to Workbench because I get this. And I don't know what that's from. This is the Amiga, this is the test kit. I downloaded it from the GitHub page. Left mouse button. I don't have my mouse plugged in. I don't want to plug anything in while the computer is on. You would think that you could maybe hit enter or escape or something, but it doesn't look like it. I've got my mouse disassembled right now with parts on order to replace photoreceptors, hoping that fixes my mouse. Okay. So, turn this off, and the next experiment I do, I'll be back in a second, is loading Workbench and having the Gotek in there and seeing if it actually senses the Gotek. Okay, here we go. Okay. So we've got Workbench prompt. Well, I did get some new double density discs, new old double density discs. I haven't done anything with them yet. Okay, so Workbench, what we want to see. Curious about memory, see if the memory is still 300 something K. The excitement of watching Workbench load. Look at that, right in the middle of the screen. Interesting that it's so ginormously huge. We see Xcopy, which is what the Gotek is currently set to. So it does see the Gotek, it does see my disk image of Xcopy. My memory is still not showing up from the expansion board, but Xcopy is there. Unfortunately, I can't actually like double click it or anything because I don't have the mouse hooked up. Interesting over there. Workbench 1.3, and then there's a partial letter. I'm not sure if that's normal. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Interesting. But okay, so the Gotek is working. It just seems to be that on Amiga 1000, I'm guessing I have to do something special to get Kickstart to work from DF0. Why is it super important? Well, a lot of games and programs are hard-coded to load from DF0, the internal drive. So if I have the Gotek set as DF0, I need it to load Kickstart from DF0 so that I can then follow it up with Workbench from DF0, and then when it's in Workbench, load something else, or instead of loading Workbench, load a game or an application. So that's a bit of a bummer, but at least it appears to be working to the point where I can see the image on the screen from the Gotek, and I've got sound, although without plugging a mouse in, I can't actually go through all of the sound tests to see if the sound chip is fully working. Still a step in the right direction, but I am still going to be reliant on floppies at this stage.